Okay, this is lesson 39, 8 things about popularity. And it really helps you to go through high school to understand these 8 different things to kind of help your perspective and stuff and make your high school years a lot more enjoyable if you have the right perspective. So here we go. 8 things you should know about popularity in high school. First of all, being right with God makes you more likable. Here's a good verse in Galatians. It's called the fruit of the Spirit. Like when you're controlled by God's Spirit and you're right with God, said the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, gentleness, faithfulness, and discipline. So the fruit of the Spirit is those 9 positive qualities. That makes you more likable. You're more loving. You're more joyful. You're more peaceful. You're more slow to anger. You're just just a better person. Those circles there that on the left, Christ is outside of life. They don't know God. The E for ego is in the middle, or it's on the throne or in the driver's seat of your life. The middle circle, Christ is in the life, but ego is still on the throne, or desire for popularity or attention or fame or acceptance is on the throne, and your interests and priorities, the dots are kind of messed up. And then the one on the right, Christ is on the throne, popularity isn't on the throne, acceptance, attention, and fame is not on the throne, and you have inner peace and harmony, and your life goes a lot better. My daughter Angela, when she was in high school, she lived all out for Jesus and followed Jesus with all her heart, made a big difference, and she got voted the best personality in the senior class. So if you think you're missing out, if people think you're going to be weird, you're mistaken. You're more likable. By the way, we were made to have a relationship with God. We were made to walk for God, walk with God, and to live for God. That's normal. To live for yourself, to live for fame, for your own attention or popularity, that's not normal. Okay, so you're more normal when you follow Jesus. Okay, second, it'll hurt others and it'll hurt you. Drama is just huge in high school. Man, it's just a lot of girls will say, I can't wait to graduate. There's just too much drama here. James 3:16 says, for where there is selfish ambition, there is disorder in every evil thing. Okay, where there is selfish ambition, a desire to be famous and popular, is a selfish ambition. We want to be accepted. We want recognition, but when it's the priority of our life, it becomes really selfish. What's the result? Is there's disorder and every evil thing, and so we're going to have you're going to have a lot of drama that results in comparison. It makes you happy when people fail, and there's like a totem pole that you try to go up and down, and just not a good thing. First Peter 5:5 said, whoever tries to exalt themselves or make themselves popular will be humbled. Whoever humbles themselves will be exalted. I did a survey of high school students, about 200 high school students, and what was the number one thing that girls liked in a guy? By far, it was they liked a guy that was humble. They didn't like a guy who was conceited. So when you think about other people and you don't think about yourself all the time and you humble yourself, people like you more. And God will exalt you for that. Let God exalt you. Don't try to exalt yourself. I love Steph Curry, the Warriors basketball player. He says, I'm just a humble servant of the Lord. And God has exalted him as a successful basketball player and a great role model and a great family man. And so when you humble yourselves, people like you more. Okay, third point is trying to be popular makes you a slave. Okay, check this verse out. Proverbs 29:25, the fear of human opinion. So you think you fear human opinion, you care so much about people think about you. It disables you, like you have a disability, all right? A social disability is you keep on thinking what people think about you, okay? Or another translation says it's a trap. Trusting God makes you feel secure. So you live for an audience of one, you live to please God. He's the one opinions that matters. You're free and you have so much joy and stuff. But there's a lizard called a chameleon that changes colors. You put him on a brown carpet, he turns brown. You put him on a green thing, he turns green. You put on something black, he turns back. A lot of people are like chameleons. They just conform to their environment. They never find out who they are. They're confused. They don't know who their identity they are. And actually, they're a slave. Here's an acronym. STD doesn't mean sexually transmitted disease. It means you become a slave, you're trapped, and you're disabled. You're socially disabled because you never find out who you are. You're trapped in a peer group and you can't get out. You care so much about what people think about you. They control you. A strong desire for popularity makes you a slave to the opinions of other people. Let me say that again. A desire for popularity makes you a slave to the opinions of other people. But man, pleasing God makes you free and you'll come out way ahead. Okay, things that society says that makes you popular, it really doesn't contribute to be liked at all. As a high school teacher, I took a survey of my students and I said, list 5 things you like in people and 5 things you don't like in people. Well, anyway, here's the 5 things they like. They wanted friends that were kind, that were loyal, that were understanding, that were unselfish, and that were fun. Okay. But how do people try to be accepted? How do people try to be popular? They use drugs and alcohol to fit in. They buy certain clothes to fit in. They get involved in school activities, and which is a good thing, and sports and stuff to fit in. They hang around with the right people. Like when I was a junior in high school, I hung around with some senior guys that were really popular, and they weren't the best influence on me and stuff. And I thought, years later, I was about 35 years old. And I thought, why did I hang out with those guys? They kind of made fun of me and teased me and let me be a tag along and stuff. I was just trying to hang out with them to make myself popular. A lot of times people will hang out with a peer group or older people just to exalt themselves and make themselves popular, or buying a lot of material stuff. But anyway, what people are looking for is not those things, all right, that are on the right. They're looking for those things on the left. So work on those things on the left. Don't envy people who gain popularity through doing things that are wrong. They will fade. Check out this verse. Do not envy people who do wrong, or be jealous of them. They will disappear like the grass without rain. Like the grass on a hot summer day, they're going to turn brown and they're going to fade. And at the time they might think, oh, they're having a great time and they're prospering and stuff, but don't envy them because they will fade. When I was in high school, I chose to follow Jesus. I had a great time. I'm glad I did. I had a really great Christian peer group. Christianity was a strong movement in my high school. I was involved in FCA and Young Life and church and stuff. We had great times and stuff, but I was a little bit envious of people who were bragging about getting drunk, or, people were partying. Am I missing out and stuff? And I read this verse. It says, don't envy people who do wrong, who get their identity out of drugs and alcohol. They will disappear like the grass that withers without rain. Man, I'm going to my 10-year reunion, my 20-year reunion, my 40-year reunion. Man, this verse is true, man. A lot of people withered. People are divorced, alcoholics, broken lives and stuff, bad habits. There's this one girl, is probably the most immoral, perverted girl in the school, just a wild party animal, would do anything with anybody, would get drunk all the time. And she was at the reunion and she said, I found Christ. She goes, I go, tell me about it, Patty. She goes, I just hated myself. I was a broken person. I was miserable, even though she had this big party animal facade. And she goes, I went to church one day and I said, man, I'm broken. I need Jesus. I need to be healed. And now she's living for God. There's a lot of people like that at my high school reunions. Don't envy them. When you see someone bragging about something like that, they're deceived. How good can it be to get drunk and not know what you're doing and make a fool out of yourself, and the next day you have a headache and you don't even remember what you did? How can you brag about that? That's like bragging about having the flu and throwing up. I mean, it's just ridiculous. Okay, you'll never see 99% of these people again once you graduate. The average person keeps 3 friends from high school. I have people from high school on social media, but I just glance at what they're doing. There's no relationship and stuff, but 3 friends from high school. And when I go to weddings, I get invited to quite a few weddings and stuff of people who graduated. And I always count how many friends they have there from high school. And it's not very many, maybe 4 or 5. It's not a lot. I love that picture. It says, let's get this ship painted before it sinks. Why would you want to paint a sinking ship? Your image in high school, you're cool in high school, you're popular in high school, is a sinking ship. High school is 5% of your life, okay? It's a sinking ship. Your image doesn't matter. Your cool doesn't matter. Your sports doesn't matter once you graduate. Man, it's what you do for Christ and the people that you love. Man, remember this and keep that in perspective. That's just an awesome picture. Okay, a couple more points here. You'll never lose any friends when you follow Christ. You find out who your true friends are. John Copland, the power team, when he was in high school, man, he was the big stud, really nice guy, really friendly, involved in the athletic crowd, really cool. All the girls want to go out for him and stuff. And he became a Christian his junior year. It was big news, all right? It was a big deal when John asked God into his life and started to follow Jesus. And he told me, he goes, I never found out I didn't lose any friends. I found out how my true friends were, man. They'd be happy for you. There's one guy at Foster High School, was the captain of the basketball team. He's on the tennis team, really cool guy. He was a rapper, just a neat guy. But anyway, he was an addict, and he's doing drugs on the bus on the way to a basketball game in the back of the bus, and he's a captain of the team. Well, of course, he got kicked off the team. His parents sent him to rehab and stuff. He went to a 6-month rehab. He comes back clean. He's happier. He's doing better and stuff. And his friends, they're not his friends. They go, hey, you want to come get high? Hey, we're glad we're back. Now we can party again. How could they do that? Your life's a mess. You're an addict, that you're doing drugs on the bus of the basketball team when you're the captain of the team, and you go through rehab and you come back and they want you to get high again. They don't care about you. They just have guilt feelings and they want to drag you in so they don't feel that bad about yourself. So if they were true friends, they'd be happy for you and they would support you and encourage you in your new path. Okay, last point here, and most important one. Who is the most popular person that ever lived? Who is the coolest person that ever lived? There's been more books written about Jesus, more songs written about Jesus. He's the centerpiece of history. He's conquered armies and nations. He's the most talked about thing, man. And the Bible says, imitate God. Ephesians 5:1. Imitate God, therefore, in everything you do, because you are his children. The way we become cool is we copy what we see. We copy what we see in celebrities. We copy what we see in the media. We copy what we see in cool people, freshmen and sophomores, copy older people. All right. Why not copy Jesus? He was the coolest and the greatest leader of all time. Check out this. The greatest man in history, Jesus. He had no servants, but they called him master. He had no degrees, but they called him teacher. He had no medicines, yet they called him healer. He had no army, yet the kings feared him. He had no military battles, yet he conquered the world. He committed no crime, yet they crucified him. He was buried in a tomb, and he lives today. And share if you believe. Man, Jesus is amazing. Poverty. He was homeless. He's a homeless, unemployed carpenter, and he conquered the world with no army. That's amazing, man. Read about him in the Gospels, man, and follow him because he is the coolest that ever lived. Final thought, forgetting about popularity and trying to make Jesus popular results in freedom, peace, and joy. He is the way to go. His way is better than your way. His way is better than the world's way. Trying to be popular makes you a slave to the expectations of others and results in emptiness. Okay, quick review. Being right with God makes you more likable. The fruits of the Spirit: love, joy, peace, patience. Second, it'll hurt others and it'll hurt you. Man, there's just a lot of drama when there's comparison and the totem pole thing goes up and down. Trying to be popular makes you a slave. The things that society says, number 4, makes you popular really doesn't contribute to being liked at all. It's about being kind and loving and joyful and unselfish. Don't envy people who gain popularity through doing wrong. They will fade, but like the grass on a hot summer day. They will. Okay, and so anyway, there's a couple more points to review. I didn't put them there. Okay, there's number 6. You'll never see 99% of the people again when you graduate. Okay, and you never lose friends. You'll find out who your true friends are, and imitate Jesus. He's the greatest one of all time. Okay, fill out your journal and reflect and meditate on this. And I hope this was helpful for you.